Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Protesters have taken to the streets in several parts of Afghanistan, defying Taliban pressure to stay at home. The Taliban have banned protests unless authorised by the Justice Ministry. In the latest demonstration, protesters chanting "We want freedom" were dispersed outside the Pakistan embassy. China has also pledged $31 million worth of aid to Afghanistan, including food supplies and coronavirus vaccines. Hong Kong authorities have raided the city's Tiananmen Massacre Museum a day after arresting 4 members of the civil society that ran it. The June the 4th museum has for 2 years displayed information and historical items related to the massacre of student protesters in 1989. The museum is run by the Hong Kong Alliance, which has been accused of foreign collusion under the national security law. The reason for the raid was unclear. Morocco's long-ruling party has suffered a crushing defeat to liberal rivals in parliamentary elections. The Justice and Development Party saw its support collapse from 125 seats to just 12, far behind its main liberal opponents, the National Rally of Independence. Turnout in the parliamentary election was just over 50% higher than in 2016. Alarms have been triggered on board the International Space Station after the crew reported smoke and the smell of burning plastic. The incident centred on the Russian-built module which provides living quarters. The ageing space station has suffered a number of failures over the years, and a Russian official recently warned of outdated hardware and failing systems. These include air leaks, misfiring engines and cracks. At least 14 people have been killed by a fire that broke out in a makeshift hospital for COVID-19 patients in North Macedonia. Footage shows a building in flames and a thick cloud of black smoke billowing into the air near a main road in the city of Tetovo. Firefighters put out the blaze in less than an hour. The deputy fire chief said the fire spread rapidly inside the building after oxygen cylinders exploded. Officials are investigating whether there were more victims. A wildfire has forced the evacuation of some 500 people from the Spanish southern resort of Estepona. The regional government said about 250 firefighters are operating to extinguish the fire. The 2 evacuated communities are called Abajeiras and Forest Hills. Several roads were closed because of the blaze. Unusually large wildfires have raged in various parts of the world this year, fueled by extremely hot, dry conditions that some experts say are the symptomatic of climate change. North Korea has held a military parade to mark the communist state's 73rd founding anniversary. State media photos of the nighttime parade showed marching soldiers and workers in hazmat suits. Leader Kim Jong-un, who looked visibly slimmer, was seen among the unmasked crowds hugging children. State media also released images of fire trucks, tractors and fireworks at the parade. North Korea is currently suffering from food shortages and a deepening economic crisis due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, a lyric from John Legend's Imagine has been projected onto buildings around the world to mark 50 years since the late Beatle released the famed track and album.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
From the Houses of Parliament and St Paul's Cathedral in London to Times Square in New York, Imagine All the People Living Life in Peace has been beamed onto the sites to celebrate the anniversary. Lennon released the album Imagine in 1971, and its title track has long been considered one of the greatest songs of all time.
I hope someday you'll join us.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.